and welcome back for more of a winter's Daydream, available on the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and also I kind of did not know that it's all available on the PlayStation 4 as well. So yeah, it's amazing. I never knew when that game came out, which is a novelty game. So alright, so this is going to be episode 5, and let's continue our story in progress from at a good lots of laughs because I do enjoy it. It was really awesome. So continue our story in progress. The bus ride back into town takes even longer than anticipated. These roads are bumpy and ill-maintained, and it typically takes at least an hour and a half to wend our way back to the town on a good day. This day, however, is the exact opposite of good. Though the roads were salted early this morning, patches of snow and ice still remain. Mr. Nakamura has to drive exceedingly carefully, at times slowing to a snail's crawl as he navigates the twisting, turning roads peppered here and there with holes. It would be quicker to take the train, but like I theorized last night, the trains have been shut down. There's too much snow on the lines. This bus is all we have. I've been on the bus with my grandmother for more than 2 hours, and we still haven't made it to the town yet. The whole while, I'm uncomfortably bounced and knocked and jolted in my seat as the tires skid. Don't you mean tires as in Tires, not with a Y, to be honest, through the slushy snow and ice. It's even worse when the unstable, unsteady motions of the bus pitch me against my grandmother's side. I'm learning to like my grandmother. I can honestly say I enjoy her company more than I did as a child. But that doesn't mean I want to be this close to her. Way to go, you. You are a ladies' man. You will just inherit the trait of Peter Venkman from Ghostbusters, and also Kirito from SAO. Not when she looks so very young. Younger, even than me. Yes, honey. My grandmother cautions me gently when my shoulder bumps against hers for the 1000th time. I'm not worried about hurting you. Yes, because she wished upon that shooting star, she felt never better, so woo-woo! You certainly look healthy. My grandmother's cheeks are flushed with a rosy glow, and her whole body seems to radiate youth. Her eyes sparkle, her hair shimmers beneath the sun seeping in through the misted windows, and her skin looks clear and smooth. Just like the surface of a mirror, or the fresh, still, untroubled waters of a lake. You think being bumped around on a bus for hours on end is amazing? Smart! So she is enjoying herself in the fountain of youth. You might be even better shape than I am. Okay. Well, I can't begrudge you that. right. Don't mention it. She has not left the village in months? Wow. Didn't you want to? What about the trains? They are quicker. Why not? You used to do everything with Yukinari? Really? I don't say anything else. I don't need to. That single syllable hangs in the cold, icy air, cementing a bond of understanding between us. Grandmother and grandson. Family. I don't know how lonely this last year must have been for my grandmother, but I can imagine. My grandmother's days must have been long and endless, with nothing to distract her from the loss of the person she loved the most in the whole world. Her daily routine was changed irreversibly after my grandfather died, though I'm sure it looked more or less the same at a surface glance. It wasn't, though. Not quite. Just thinking about it is painful. That's why I can't let my grandmother down. Not now, not ever. Hey, I extend my hand, my fingers shyly treading between my grandmother's, which is... Now, don't you guys get this, okay? Because I know it was kind of twisted, but somehow it happened because this is a well-done story. You get a slice of life, a slice of comedy, a slice of romance and drama, and you put them all together and you have the perfect novel game. Don't worry about it. I'm here for you. My grandmother sighs softly. He was exaggerating. I don't know what to say. Even though I was such a brat when I was really so little. Or in your case, I glance at her unfamiliar figure, a small smile on my face. We grow down. My grandmother laughs quietly at my joke, poor though it is. Oh, it really is. My grandmother squeezes my fingers with her own. How you did say until like, I don't know, 24 hours. It did begin midnight, and then it'll end at midnight, but who knows? Long enough for you to make your dream come true, I hope. I look out of the window. It isn't snowing anymore, but the residue of last night's snowstorm is visible for any curious eye to see. The fields that stretch out before me are pure white, like a carpet of printing paper. It has been such a long time. Yeah. My grandmother glances about cheerfully, her eyes wide like a young lady being taken to a theme park for the first time. I'm not sure why she's so excited. This is only a small town. A handful of shops line the streets, and there's a plaza with a circular fountain that always frosts over when the weather gets cold, and that's about it. We don't even have a mall. Our lack of any shopping center with multiple floors, shiny glass roofs, and elevators have been a constant source of pain for Otoko over the years. The lack of decent bikinis for sale, too. This place is nothing compared to the busy, bustling metropolis of Tokyo. In fact, the few streets our town has to offer are almost painfully deserted. I see a few people milling about, lone men and women during last-minute New Year's shopping for their partners. Most likely, and a couple of families dotted here and there, but that's all. You know, there's nothing impressive about this place. I don't understand why you are so excited. My grandmother turns to me, face me, still smiling. I guess so. I see what you mean. Stepping out inside of a time capsule. She's right about that. The rest of the world hasn't really caught on in this small, sleepy slice of northern Japan yet. We do have a McDonald's, and there's a 7-Eleven, plus a handful of chain clothing stores you could find anywhere, but the majority of business around here are privately owned. There's a lot of little one-off shops with only one floor that you can't find anywhere else. Otoko, being Otoko, thinks it's horrendous. My grandmother, meanwhile, seems to appreciate the charm of these quaint, entirely unique places. Must remind her of her childhood. Parsley Cafe? I don't know. I haven't been here in a while. Mrs. Fujiwara, huh? Nice, okay. My grandmother laughs lightly, but her mirth soon fades as she contemplates the frozen fountain. Do you want to see if her cafe is still there? Were you that close? She had a bad hip, huh? Wow, thunder or lightning would not deter her. And my grandmother frowns, her fingers toying with the ends of her scarf. You are not old now. Grandma. My grandmother sighs again. But you don't regret it? And powerful indeed. It's easier to believe that tried and tested line, more frayed than the tatami mats in my grandmother's age-old house when she looks like this. Her body is young now, her skin is smooth, and her hair is black and glossy like Snow White. She looks like she's my age or younger. She has so much life ahead of her. But that's just an illusion, is it? Her new appearance is nothing more than a cloak woven by mysterious, otherworldly magic. I wouldn't say that, because... Oh, come on. If you failed to write, I mean, come on! And you're saying that is not real? Give me a break. Trust me, when you really feel her hand, that is real and not a fake illusion. Soon, this spell will wear away, and my grandmother will emerge from the cocoon of her teenage self. She'll be an old woman once more, with rheumy eyes and a wrinkly neck. Don't you have any spare kimonos? So you need something equally young, fresh, and pretty to drape over your body? I should have known. I shake my head. You are just like Otoko. Do you have enough money to pay for a new kimono? They can be quite expensive, especially around New Year's. Everybody will be wanting to buy a new kimono so they can have their first shrine visit of the year. Though there are many more people like Otoko who'd rather wear Western clothes. Kimonos aren't exactly, well, you know, not that I know much about women's clothing. Actually, kimonos are really popular, to be honest. Well, I'm sure he'll be very happy with whatever kimono you pick. Not really, though. Very well then. You wore that kimono more than 60 years ago. How can you remember what it looks like? My grandmother smiles to herself and presses one hand against her chest. Given this town is so small, there isn't a single shop in the limited high street devoted entirely to kimonos. A couple of clothes shops have small sections devoted to kimonos and yukatas, but they mostly carry simple pieces that go for less than 8,000 yuan. The majority of these kimonos are comprised of solid colors, either black or red or blue, and they are inevitably decorated with flowers or butterflies. The obis aren't much better. Similarly drab and dreary, embellished with trite patterns one could find almost anywhere. My grandmother isn't particularly impressed with these kimonos, and neither am I, though I can't pretend I know much about them. We look through the rails of all the second-hand shops in this town, hopefully for a lucky find or two, but though there are several kimonos on the rails of those shops, or these shops, they are too plain to hold my grandmother's attention. No, she mumbles to herself, shaking her head, and she rummages through the rails. She's saying these are nothing like the kimonos I wore when I was young. My grandmother sighs as she lets go of the sleeve of the pale peach kimono embroidered with the cherry blossoms. But our search remains fruitless despite her good humor. When my grandmother does find a kimono she likes, she discovers that its sleeve is frayed and it smells faintly of cigarettes. It must have belonged to a smoker. She concluded sadly. It is a pretty thing, but Yuki and I wouldn't want you to see the kimono that smells of smoke, so it's bad. Because in a sheepish way, it's a really bad idea. But I thought he used to smoke himself. Yes, he was a smoker. Which I don't want to talk about. He gave it up a few years ago, so yeah. After I made him chesty in the winter. Yeah, she said it wasn't easy for him. Did that most of his life. His health was more important. He didn't want to get sick. And not while we're still together, is what she said. Well, at least he finally quit. Wow. We look around the town for over 3 hours, leaving no stone unturned and no shop overlooked. My grandmother must have pored over every single kimono on display within a 10-mile radius, but each and every last one makes her shake her head. There's always something wrong. Aching limbs and tired feet, my grandmother and I retreat to the iced-over fountain in the central plaza. Glance at my surroundings, my fingers jammed deep into my pockets. It's much too cold to let them roam about in the wild. The deciduous trees around the plaza were dusted with snow earlier this morning, but some of the powdery snow has melted during our hunt. The anemic sun that hangs in the gray, steely sky shimmers weakly. Oh, it's a cold day, and there's a lot of clouds. The sun is still doing its best to keep shining. I, on the other hand, have already started to wilt. Maybe we left it too late. All the good kimonos might have been bought already. I give her a sidelong look. What do you mean? We haven't, but we've been in every single clothes store there is. Where? My grandmother taps her nose with her index finger. Really? Well, it's quite cute, I guess. My grandmother's so excited I can practically see the hearts swirling about her head. The last shop my grandmother wanted to examine isn't devoted to clothes, secondhand or otherwise. Tamayuro, which is located down a rabid warren of twisting, turning streets, is an antique shop. This antique shop mostly carries items from the latter half of the Edo period, lacquered plates, ukiyo-e prints, and ichimatsu dolls. It does, however, have a small section near the back of the shop devoted to antique kimonos and obis. There are even geta shoes, parasols, and shawls in numerous colors. The selection of items is fairly small and select, but this doesn't dampen my grandmother's enthusiasm. of these kimonos look like the one you wore when you first met Grandpa? Well, that is true. And I used to think it was impossible for people to lose 60 years overnight. But look at you now. My grandmother giggles, holding the cream sleeve of her sweater against her mouth. I wonder how much these cost. I examined the kimono that's the closest to me on the rail. It's a soft orange color embroidered with an intricate image of a wheat field. And look at the price it demands. 120,000 yuan. Let me see. That would be like... I would round it over around be somewhere between $80 to $120 in in USA currency. Drop the fabrication and take a step back. These kimonos are so expensive. I feel like I'm losing money just looking at them. The worst thing is, the soft orange kimono I handled is one of the cheaper ones, and it's still more than 10 times the price of the kimonos we examined in the other stores. Are you sure you can afford this, Grandma? They're pretty expensive. They're pretty expensive, to be honest. But inflation. Wow. I know, but 120,000 yuan for something you're going to wear once. Right. I'm just trying to be sensible. That's what she says, but her eyes are glinting. I think she's teasing me. My grandmother always liked teasing people. She used to feed me lots of silly stories when I was very little, just to see how I would react. Once, she told me that Lisette was sentiment, and she moved around in the night when nobody was looking. I found Lisette unsettling enough, with her unblinking eyes and her pouty lips, but that only made it worse. I was genuinely frightened of that doll when I was younger. Not frightened enough that it deterred me tipping her upside down to examine her drawers, though. Wow, you are naughty! But you've been wearing the same clothes for years. My grandmother's fingers trail across the rack of kimonos almost reverently. Alright, fine. But you are sounding disturbingly like Otoko. Ah! She might be pretty, but she's rotten on the inside. I always thought that Otoko, with her fiery nature and her short temper, didn't really take after anybody in the family. She's not like Dad, who's laid back, or Mom, who fusses and fidgets and bends over backwards to please people. I might have been wrong, though. Otoko's not very much like our mother or our father, but she has more than a couple of similarities with our grandmother. They both have a penchant. They both have a penchant for expensive clothes. Speaking of which, Otoko wanted me to buy her a gift, didn't she? I don't think I'll find any frilly bikinis nestled amongst the shelves of Tamayura, but I might be able to find something she'll like. I'm going to look around. Tell me when you've finished. Did you go clothes shopping a lot? She warned you against being arrogant. Really? Wow. Take your time then, I don't mind. I do my best. I wander off, glancing around this peculiar shop with newly kindled interests. A present for Otoko, What would she like? This shop really is filled with interesting wares. The shelves are positively crammed full of stuff, shimmering mysteriously beneath the dimmed lights. I think they dimmed the lights in antique shops on purpose so the artificial brightness doesn't harm any of the antique pieces, particularly the paintings. These ukiyo-e pictures are rather interesting, of women in kimonos playing the koto, or standing in tea gardens with their raised parasols shielding them from the sun. I find them charming in a dated kind of way, but I very much doubt they would be to Otoko's tastes. I keep searching, making a mental inventory of all the curios I find inside my head. There are a few fans decorated with soft pastel images of butterflies and gardens, an enamel brooch resting in a blue jewelry box, a 15-piece set of Kamekoki dolls, with kimonos fashioned out of cloth and black hair cut into neat bobs. I try not to look at the price tags attached to these items. Something about all these zeros is rather frightening. While I peruse, I can't stop myself from glancing over at the shopkeeper. She's a surprisingly young woman, in her mid-20s or so. She looks a little out of place in a store like this, especially with her carefully manicured fingernails and the glossy magazine in her hands. I tried to covertly read the cover of her magazine. The name looks familiar, though I never read it. Right, you look at the cover of the magazine, and then she starts getting annoyed. I think it's one of the same magazines Otoko buys. If it is, I wouldn't be surprised. This woman looks just as fashion conscious as my caustic little sister. I just hope she'll be more agreeable. The shopkeeper lifts her head, setting the magazine to one side. Me? I'm not staring. Who's staring? Not me. No way. I'm blushing, trying to avert my eyes, but it's already too late. The girl behind the lady behind the counter knows I've been staring. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. The woman, should I say, purses her lips. She doesn't look convinced by my weak reassurances. Oh, come on! She's not... Wow. Okay. We cannot fool Mr. Nakamura, but can we fool the shopkeeper? Yes! My soulmate? Unfortunately, my grandmother is so enamored with the small selection of kimonos, she doesn't seem to have heard our conversation. If she had, I know I'd never hear the end of it. She might be a young lady, but she's not really my friend. We're family. I already have a sister, and she's enough of a handful as it is. I don't want any siblings, fictional or otherwise. Besides, I'm gonna say it's my sister Leifa or Sugu from SAO, which works. I can insert that. Woo woo! No, she's my cousin. She doesn't live around here. No, it's fine. It's... No, It's alright. She doesn't need to apologize. I was the one who started all this by staring at her. And they are expensive. She shudders. Really? Oh, I see what you mean. We already looked around the other stores, but she didn't like anything they had to offer. She prefers antiques. I know, right? I guess. This whole situation is pretty weird. The shopkeeper isn't wrong. Not that she's privy to all the details. It's not like you get all hossy on me or whatever. I open my mouth ready to speak, but she holds up a hand before I can say anything. I think my cousin will be fine. She knows what she likes, and she told me she has enough money. I was thinking about buying a present for my younger sister. No, it's not a kimono. I couldn't afford it anyway. I was thinking more like jewelry, or maybe a hairpin. Something she could wear when we go out for our New Year's shrine visit. Oh, I don't know. Flashy things. She's obsessed with Tokyo fashion. Not that she's ever been there. Lovely pair of earrings, inlaid with real diamonds, you say? Diamonds? Well, let's check it out and see the price. Well, I have no doubts Otoko would love a pair of diamond earrings, no matter how old they might be. My wallet certainly wouldn't. The thought of it is enough to make me sweat. I don't think I can afford real diamonds. That's way out of my price range. And I don't think Otoko is worth that much either. I know you can't put a price on family, and I do want to repair my relationship with my sister, but come on! Let's be practical here. I'm just a poor student, and if I spend all my money on frivolous gifts, I'll be completely broke. I don't want to live on instant noodles for the foreseeable future. The shopkeeper sighs, and she looks a bit deflated. I don't have much more than 20,000 yuan. The shopkeeper wrinkles her brow. All her earlier energy is completely dissipated. Or dissipated. It isn't? I wouldn't... Coral's really nice, but I don't think that would sit with my sister's tastes. I did mention hairpins, that's right. She doesn't like wearing kimonos, but I thought she might want something pretty to put in her hair. Okay, jewelry is out of the question. Now we move on to hairpins. The shopkeeper abandons her post behind the counter and gestures me to follow her with one long manicured nail. I obeyed soundlessly. She leads me to a shelf and gestures at a collection of pieces on display. There, behind the glass, are a series of metallic hairpins of varying lengths, their tops tipped with small balls. The longest is around 18 centimeters, while the shortest is only 9. So they come as a set, 5 for 1. 5 for 1. A real bargain. 1920s and not in the best of conditions. Made with jade and this is topaz? I look at a series of hairpins. True to the shopkeeper's words, they're not in the best of conditions. But the little balls that shimmer on the ends of these pins look expensive enough. Small drops of jade and topaz. Real precious stones. I don't think Otoko owns anything quite this luxurious. There's just one question. How much are they? The shopkeeper flashes me a smile that would put a fox to shame. 18,000 yuan, huh? 18,000 yuan. I wince. The thought of parting with that much money in one fell swoop is painful, but if it could improve my relationship with Otoko, then maybe it's worth it. I hope it's worth it. Otherwise, I really will look like a fool. I'm much too nice for my own good. Aha! And I do believe we are going to stop here for the time being. And, whoops, and don't you worry, we are going to stop here, like I said. And don't worry, we are going to continue to pick up from where we left off, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and tell me, what do you guys think of A Winter's Daydream, the novel game? Do you like it or hate it? Mash that like button or share this video. If you guys love novel games such as myself, whether it's Gotcha Memories or Everlasting Summer or something else, like whatever suits your taste. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your friendly neighborhood spider cop, and also your Master Chief, who takes chances, making mistakes, and getting messy, like peanut butter and chocolate or breakfast for dinner, and celebrating Autism Awareness Month for the entire month of April, wearing the colors red, yellow, and blue, and friendship is magic! Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember to fight with honor, love, truth, and justice, and see you guys next time for another episode of A Winter's Daydream. Okay.